Hi friends, this is Vishnu here, back again, and welcome to my channel Tips, Tricks and Concepts by Vishnu. In my previous video, I have talked about the IUPAC nomenclature of various compounds in a stepwise manner, such as those with multiple bonds, the functional groups and so on. In this video, we will discuss to the next step, that is the aromatic compounds, alicyclic compounds, bond line notations and so on. So if you haven't seen the previous video, please go watch it, like it and come back. The link is given in the description box and also here. So let's go to our next steps. First of all, we will deal with the organic compounds given in bond line notations. There is no difference in this step when compared to our previous steps in the previous video. But we have to follow a precaution while naming such compounds when given in bond line notations. The precaution is that we have to count each and every carbon atoms and also read the functional group accurately. There are many careless mistakes done by the students while doing this. For example, let's take this simple compound. Here we have the functional group as OH. So what is our first step? Find the longest carbon chain containing the functional group and the multiple bond. So we can count from two different sides, and if we count from this side, the OH group will be at the 5th position, and if we count from the opposite side, we will have it at the 2nd position. So which numbering is correct? Yes, this one. So the OH group is at 2nd position, ethyl group at 4th position and double bond at 4th position. So how to name it? Find the word root. The longest carbon chain is 6 carbon atoms long. So we can name it as secondary prefix plus primary prefix plus word root plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. So the naming will be 4-ethyl hex 4N2-ol. You can also see that the locants have also come as correct. And another important tip, which is usually not directly needed for entrance, but it's better to understand that. That is, when we include a triple bond in bond line notation, always the triple bond should be considered or drawn in such a way that it is in line with the single bond before that. That is, we have to draw like this. That is, there is no angle at the two bonds. That is, there is no angle formed between the two bonds. This is because the carbon atoms which are triple bonded are sp hybridized. That is, their bond angle is 180 degree. So the bond angle it forms with its previous bond is 180 degree, and hence in the bond line notation also it is correct to notate it in that way. Now let's see how to name the cyclic organic compounds, that is alicyclic hydrocarbons. The first point is that we have to include the primary prefix cyclo. Okay, now the second point, when we have functional groups or any branchings etc., we have to name them and number them according to the lowest locant rule. Okay, let's see an example. You can see a cyclic ring with the 6 carbon atoms. So its root word will be hex and ending or the primary suffix will be ane, since it is an alkane, single bonded. And now you can see that there are 2 substituents at the 2 positions. So how we will number it? Since they are same, you can number it at any order. That is, we can say number it as 1,2-dimethyl, and hence the name will be 1,2-dimethyl cyclohexane. Here 1,2-dimethyl will be the secondary prefix and the cyclo will be the primary prefix and so on. Now the tip here, if 2 different substituents are present on the same cycloalkane at equivalent positions, then those substituents have to be named according to the alphabetical order. For example, you can see that we have a methyl group and an ethyl group and they are present on this cyclopentane. So we can see that they are at equivalent positions. So which one to number first? ethyl. E comes before M in methyl. So ethyl is given the least number and hence the name 1-ethyl 2-methyl cyclopentane. But there is an additional criteria for this. That is, if the substituents are present and we have chosen in the alphabetical order, we have to check that they also satisfy the lowest locant rule. That is, the lowest set of locants, that is the sum of locants, should be smaller. So let's see an example. Here you can see that it is a cyclohexane and we have two methyl groups at one position and an ethyl group at another position. So what will be the naming or numbering order? You can see that in the first case, if we follow the alphabetical order, you can see that ethyl gets the first position and methyl, both the methyl groups get the third position. So the set of locants will be 1 plus 3 plus 3, which is 7. But in the second case, second order of numbering, we have the methyl groups at the first position and ethyl group at the third position. That is 1, 1 and 3. So 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5. It is the lowest set of locants. So according to the lowest set of locant rule, we had to choose the second numbering as correct. That is, in addition to alphabetical order, the lowest locant rule has a greater position or a greater level of importance in this IUPAC nomenclature of cyclic compounds. So the naming here will be 1,1-dimethyl, but it should not come at first because we have to follow the alphabetical order. So 3-ethyl 1,1-dimethyl cyclohexane. Now if you think, you can see that there will be three different cases. That is, a cycloalkane with a branch or a substituent having carbon atoms, that means a parent chain of carbon atoms with number of carbon atoms less than that of this cycloalkane, equal to that of this cycloalkane, or greater than that of this cycloalkane. So how we will name in each of these cases? So let's deal it with three different examples. The first example, here we have a cyclopentane structure and to which a butane is attached, in which the second carbon of butane is attached. So how we will take, which carbon atom, which hydrocarbon we will take as a parent chain? Probably the longest chain is taken as a parent chain, that is the cycloalkane. So since the cycloalkane, there is cyclopentane here has 5 carbon atoms, but the substituent has only 4 carbon atoms, 4 less than 5. So we can take it as sec-butyl cyclopentane, or else, to be more clear, by naming of substituents in our previous video, we can name it as 1-methyl propyl cyclopentane. Why? Because always the carbon atom attached to the parent chain in a branch is numbered 1 and the substituents or the longest chain are compared and numbered with respect to that carbon atom, and hence the name 1-methyl propyl, which is given in brackets. This is because to make it more clear or less confusions. Now the next example, that is, the cycloalkane and the substituent has the same number of carbon atoms. What will we do? How we will name it? So the naming will be such that the parent chain is nothing but the cycloalkane. So for example, here we have a cyclohexane and the substituent is also a chain with 6 carbon atoms, that is a hexane chain. So how we will name it? Since the third carbon atom of the hexane chain of the substituent is attached to the cyclohexane, we will name it as 1-ethyl butyl cyclohexane. Now the next case, that is the number of carbon atoms in the substituents or that is acting as the branch from the cycloalkane having carbon atoms more than the cycloalkane. So in that case, the parent chain is nothing but the one with more number of carbon atoms. That is, the one that seems as a substituent to this cycloalkane is actually the parent chain. So don't confuse it. Now let's make it clear by using an example. In this example, you can see that there is a cyclobutane and at the same time there is a carbon chain which is 5 carbon atoms long. So we had to choose that one as a parent chain since it has 5 carbon atoms and our cycloalkane has only 4 carbon atoms. So this cyclobutyl acts as the substituent. So we have to first choose the longest carbon chain in our parent chain, and we have to name or number it in such a way that it gets the least possible number. That is, the branch gets the least possible number. Here the branch is the cycloalkyl. So we can name it as 3-cyclobutyl pentane. Now another major point to be noted, that is, if the substituent seeming chain has the carbon atoms less than that of the cycloalkane or equal to that of the cycloalkane, but if it contains a multiple bond or a functional group, what will we do? We have to take that chain which contains the functional group as the major parent chain, even if its carbon atoms are less than that of our cycloalkane. Let's make it clear by using an example. You can see that we have a cyclobutane and also an aliphatic chain containing 4 carbon atoms with a double bond. So that chain, aliphatic chain, has to be given more importance. So it is taken as the parent chain, and we have to follow the Lewis-Loken rule and then name the compound. So according to the Lewis-Loken rule, which one is correct? The first order of numbering is correct. So we can name it as 1-cyclobutyl but2ene. Let's go to the next step, that is how to name the alicyclic compounds containing multiple bonds or functional groups. So first point, first of all, we have to number in such a way that the multiple bond or the functional group gets the least possible numbering. So let's see an example. Here we can see that we have a cyclobutane and also a double bond air and 2 methyl groups at 2 different positions. Then how to name it? We had to name it in such a way that the double bonded carbon atom gets the least position or least possible number. At the same time, we have to choose the Lewis-Loken rule for the branches too. So correct numbering will be like this, and hence the naming will be 2,3-dimethyl cyclobut1ene. Now the next point, how to name if the ring has a multiple bond but the side chain has a functional group in it. That is, our aliphatic chain has a functional group in it. How we will name? We have to give the preference to the aliphatic chain, and that aliphatic chain will be the parent chain, and the naming will be in such a way that the ring will be acting as a branch. And let's make it clear with an example. Here we have a cyclopentane ring, and it is with a double bond, and we have an aliphatic chain as side chain but with the functional group OH. So how we will name? We will take this aliphatic chain as the principal or the parent chain, and the numbering will be such that OH group, since it is a functional group, is given preference, and then according to Lewis-Loken rule, the branch, that is the cyclopentenyl structure, is also given the lowest possible number. So what will be the suffix? We have OH group at first carbon, so we have its suffix 1-ol. Now what will be the prefix? That is the branching. We have cyclopentyl group but with a double bond. How we will number and name the double bond accurately? That is, as I have said before while naming the substituents in my previous video, the carbon atom attached to the parent chain should be given the number 1, and all other numbering should be with respect to that. So we have to choose the lowest possible number with respect to this carbon 1. Then the number of double bonded carbon will be 3. That is the lowest possible number, and hence the correct numbering and naming will be cyclopent3enyl, and where it is attached to the 3rd carbon of the parent chain. So the IUPAC prefix will be 3-cyclopent3enyl. So the IUPAC name will be 3-cyclopent3ene1-yl propan 1-ol. Now let's go to the next step. That is, when the cyclic ring as well as the aliphatic chain both contains the functional group or multiple parts, what will happen? Of course, we have to follow the priority order, and the parent chain is the chain or the ring with the higher functional group, that is more important functional group. Let's see and make it clear by using an example. Here we have a keto group attached to the cyclic ring, but an alcohol attached to the aliphatic ring. So according to the priority order as mentioned in my previous video, which one is more preferred? Of course, the keto group is more preferred. So the cyclic ring will be the parent compound, and hence the numbering will be in such a way that the keto group carbon will get the first number, and hence numbering will be like this. Now, how will be the numbering of the side chain? The carbon atom attached to the parent chain will get the number 1, and the total name will be, first of all, prefix. Prefix is nothing but 2-hydroxy prop 1I. Now what will be the suffix? Keto group. So on. So 1 on. How can we write it? 2-hydroxy propyl cyclohexane 1 on. A small task for you. Please name the following compound, the IUPAC name, correct IUPAC name. You can either comment it or send me on Facebook, and I will give the answer in my next video. Now, another point, that is, if two similar, that is two equally preferred or same functional groups are present on both cyclic ring as well as in the aliphatic side chain, which one will be taken as a parent chain? Then the parent chain is determined based on the number of carbon atoms as we did for the first compounds. So let's make it clear by using an example. Here we have a cyclopentane, a CHO group attached to it, and another aliphatic chain containing another CHO group in it. So both functional groups are same. So we have to choose the parent chain in such a manner that which chain contains or which ring contains more number of carbon atoms. Here we have 6 carbon atoms in total, that is including the carbon atom of aldehyde. But there in the aliphatic chain we have about 7 carbon atoms including the one in the aldehyde. So of course the aliphatic chain is taken as a parent chain. So the correct IUPAC name, first of all, the suffix, of course al. How the numbering should be in such a way that CHO group, the carbon of the CHO group should get the number 1. So heptane 1al. Okay, since it is word root is hept. Now what will be the prefix? It is the one little complex. So the cyclopentyl group with the aldehyde is attached to the 7th position of the parent chain. So prefix 7,3-formyl cyclopentyl. Total IUPAC name will be 7,3-formyl cyclopentyl, because formyl is the secondary prefix for an aldehyde, okay, which is not attached to the parent chain. So 7,3-formyl cyclopentyl, heptane 1al. Now let's go to the next step, that is the cyclic ring with aromatic compounds, that is with aromatic hydrocarbons with benzene and so on. Then every time, irrespective of the functional groups and all, the cycloalkyl or the cyclic ring is termed as a substituent or a branch of the benzene, that is the benzyl or the aromatic ring is given the preference and it is made the parent chain. Let's make it clear by using a simple example. Here you can see that a cyclohexyl group and a benzene, and it has a nitro group attached to benzene and CH3 attached to the cyclohexane. Then how we will name? Of course the branch is the cyclic ring, and hence the carbon attached to the benzene will be given the number 1, and so the numbering of the prefix will be 2-methyl cyclohexane. And what will be the other prefix? 4-nitro. Hence the total IUPAC name will be 1,2-methyl cyclohexyl 4-nitrobenzene. Why it is 4-nitro and 1-cyclohexyl? This is because the alkyl group or the cycloalkyl group or phenyl group, whatever it is given more preference than the nitro group, because I told you in my previous video that all these are taken as prefixes. So which one comes first? belongs to the alphabetical order. So according to the alphabetical order, and also by preference, alkyl groups comes first before nitro. Now the tip here. If the cyclic ring is attached to the carbon atom containing functional group, then that carbon atom of the functional group is not contained or not a part of the alicyclic ring. That is, for example, if a cyclohexane is linked to a COOH or carboxylic acid group, then that C of COOH is not a part of the cyclohexane. Okay, so we have to tell in a different manner. That is, the suffix used here is carboxylic acid, cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Let's see how such prefixes and suffixes come. Okay, let's learn it by looking at this table. Here you can see that there are suffixes and prefixes for many different groups. So for example, for CHO, if CHO is attached to the cyclic ring, then if it is taken as prefix, that is, if it is a less preferred group, then it will be taken as prefix, and then a prefix for aldehyde is formyl. Similarly, subsequent suffix is carbaldehyde and not just aldehyde. The next one is COOH, that is carboxy. Similarly, suffix will be carboxylic acid, that is cyclohexane carboxylic acid. Now the next one is COOR, that is carbalcoxy or alkoxy carbonyl. These prefixes are all familiarized in my previous video itself, and now it is just a part of the cyclic ring. Now, so the suffix for the COR will be, that is ester, will be alkyl carboxylate. The next one, that is COX, that is halocarbonyl. That halogen can be any fluorine, chlorine, bromine, etc. So fluorocarbonyl or chlorocarbonyl and so on. Otherwise, if it is taken as a suffix, that is, if it is a more preferred functional group, it will be taken as the suffix, and hence that suffix, IUPAC accepted suffix is carbonyl chloride or carbonyl halide, and then CONH2, and there the prefix is carbamoyl and the suffix is carboxamide. CN, that is cyanide group. The prefix, of course, cyano, and the suffix is carbonitrile. Now let's memorize it with some examples. Okay, just two examples. Okay, first one, look at this compound. We have a cyclohexane ring and it is attached to CN. So what will be the name? Cyclohexane carbonitrile, because CN is the only functional group in it. So it is a major functional group, and hence cyclohexane carbonitrile. Now another example with two functional groups. That is, here we have both keto group and aldehyde group. Which one is more preferred? Priority order. Remember my priority order in my first video. So aldehyde. So aldehyde is a major functional group, and we will take the suffix as carbaldehyde. So what will be the prefix? The less preferred functional group, that is keto. What is the other prefix of keto? Keto is also preferred name and also oxo. So the IUPAC name will be 2-oxocyclohexane carbaldehyde. So I hope you have understood up to this, and I will do a quick review of the confusing concepts in this topic. First of all, if two substituents are given and if they are different and at equivalent positions, then choose according to alphabetical order, but make sure that it also follows the Lower-Sloken rule. Now the next point, if the aliphatic chain and the cyclic ring both has functional groups and multiple bonds, then the one containing, that is the ring or the chain, whichever contains the more preferred functional group or bond, multiple bond, that is double bond, more preferred than triple bond. So whichever contains the more preferred one will be the parent chain. That's all about the IUPAC nomenclature of alicyclic compounds. If you practice and understand all these concepts that I have told, you will definitely master this concept and can answer any questions based on this. So dear friends, I don't want to introduce more concepts at a time into your mind. So I will conclude up to this, and the aromatic compounds, see you in the next video. So if you have any doubts, you may comment, and please subscribe my channel and also share it to your friends, and so that they can also make good use of it. And your support is my greater boost for doing more such videos. You can also comment the topics that you want me to do, and bye bye for now.